Ta-da!
I didn't know what I was doing. I was on my live,
No,
but I didn't.
listen, it's never easy for some reason. Like I'm always just expecting there to be some sort of technical difficulty. I usually
Yeah.
warn people right away. I'm like, just in case, just so you all know. So everybody, this is Kyle right here. Hi, Kyle.
Hello.
I'm Deb, by the way. Hi,
Yeah,
nice to
nice to
virtually meet
officially
you.
meet you. Yeah.
So I was just explaining to them that I do astrology without the gender binary, and so I do a lot of different readings for like reality stars and celebrities and stuff like that. So thank you for doing the live. This is
Of
really cool.
course.
You're the first one from the cast that's doing a live.
Wow. Happy to
And
be
then of
here.
course you probably know who we're reading next week. You might have a
I have
a
an
slight
idea.
insight to that. Yeah. um, so what I do here is so you're kind of on the same page with me when it comes to astrology. This is your chart behind me, by the way.
Oh, cool.
And I'll get out of the way when I'm talking about it. You'll see my hand and whatever, but right now, just to kind of introduce you to it, how I think of astrology is that it's not something telling you you have to do something or should or can't. It's about giving you some validation about certain things and then also helping you to put your intentions in the right place. Getting to know yourself better so you can accept who you are and just work with that, not try to change, you know, try to go down a path that's not needed. So
Yeah.
being assured and understanding more of yourself. That's my goal for folks, right?
Cool.
So what we're going to do here is I'm not going to just say blah, blah, blah. I'm actually going to read your chart, meaning I'm going to tell you exactly what it means. Okay. Like literally, okay, this is this and what it means. So folks that are joining us, thank you for joining us. If you all have questions and stuff like that, I'll try to get to them if I see them. Kyle, if you see them, feel free to interrupt me and,
Okay.
ask if something you want to know. Also interrupt me. Okay. So by the way, the only Leo on the show, right? We did
Yeah.
have a Leo last season. Yoli was a Leo last season.
Oh,
But
nice.
yeah, the only Leo. And the thing I was just talking about right before you popped on is when we look in a chart and we see the moon is completely opposite, then that indicates that you're born in a full moon. Now, that doesn't happen all the time. In fact, Bridget is an Aquarius sun with a Leo moon, but was not born on a full moon. So
Yeah.
that can happen. But when they're directly across like that, definitely is. And then your other of your big three, so you're a Leo sun and an Aquarius moon, but the other one is right here. This is your ascendant or your rising sign, okay? So this is the point of origin for your chart. And the reason why that is all these 12 signs around here, they're constellations in the sky, right? And they happen to go along this path of these stars, right? These constellations. They don't move. We rotate. The Earth rotates, but they're the background to where the planets and like the sun and stuff move across. So that's why we have those 12 zodiac signs there,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So whichever one happens to be rising in the east at the moment that you're born, that's your rising sign.
Oh,
So, and then it sets up all your houses here, which we'll talk about. Okay. So it's your ruler of your first house, but also your entire chart. And it's also your planet ruler. So you're Sagittarius rising. Congratulations. So am I.
oh,
We're
wow.
amazing, right?
Yeah.
We're kind of the like the cold funny, the sarcasm, the dry humor. That's
Yeah.
usually Sagittarians, right? Also a little bit of a know-it-all. Because Sagittarius, and that means we're also ruled by Jupiter, which is the planet of luck. Pretty nice. And that Sagittarius is the reason why we are known as know-it-alls is because we don't normally talk about things we don't know about.
Interesting.
Do you see what I'm saying? So, like, if somebody's talking about playing the guitar and you know nothing about it, you're not gonna like say anything. You're not gonna like interject anything
Right.
about it, right?
True.
But if somebody's talking about like, as for me, like if somebody's talking about astrology, I'm like, what? What are you guys talking about? Oh,
That's
let's talk
really
about
cool.
that. I know something about it, right?
Yeah.
So, and it makes people mad that we're right a lot of the time.
Mhm.
Sorry. Um, but what it means to be a Sag rising, basically, Sagittarius is about experience, adventure, education, philosophy, and spirituality. Okay. So this is the first house here, and the first house is the house of self. All right. So that means in order for you to understand yourself better, it's through experiences, like actual tangible experiences, not reading about something or, or hearing about it, but actually experiencing it for yourself
Hmm.
or being educated by somebody who has directly experienced it. All right.
Okay.
And so you do have another placement here, which is right here. Two placements actually. It's both of them are right here, and it's under the sign of Capricorn North. So in the first house of self, so self realization, self understanding. All right,
Uh-huh.
you have Uranus, which is the planet of rebellion and change, and you also have Neptune, which is a planet of intuition and dreams.
Okay.
These two are generational planets. So I didn't even put this in like your post that I had up there because you all have similar ones because you're all within the same age range.
Oh, right.
So generational ones are like 8 years or more. They stay in the same sign. Okay. So most of you do have these two in Capricorn. All right. But you don't necessarily have them in the same house. Okay. So
Okay.
your generation is all about, efficiency and effectiveness, how to rebel efficiently and how to intuitively work, right? Efficiently and effectively. And for you, it happens to do with making yourself more understanding, more structured, if you will,
Hmm.
right? Giving you some structure to yourself and how you can rebel and how you can use your intuition because you can see if there's a crack in that structure at all. You're like, wait a second, my intuition's telling me something's wrong here. So your generation again is about that efficiency and effectiveness. Your particular role has to do with growing internally and understanding that as an
And
achievement, even.
my particular role is determined by like where it is, or like what's
Yes, yeah.
different. Yeah.
So
Okay.
like, no problem at all. Like okay, so you have the signs which represent the personality, right? And then the houses, which are numbered 1 through 12 right here, they represent a part of your life. So, like where something happens. So, like this one's self, right? So, that's the part of your life that's being affected. And the signs that are ruling it are these personalities that we talk about when we talk about signs.
Okay.
And any of these placements are just bringing a focus point and into the personality of the sign and affecting the part of your life of the house that it's in. Does
Okay.
that make
Wow.
sense? Kind of.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So then when we move over here to the second house, how you determine which sign rules which house, okay, is the lead line. Okay, so you can see right here. Here's the second house. The
Uh-huh.
lead line goes right here. Capricorn is the ruler of the second house, meaning it's the captain. Okay,
Okay.
so its energy again, efficient, effective. Don't waste my time, kind of energy. All right, and this is the house of value, possession, and like money, basically. So having Capricorn rule that is not a bad thing. Let's just put it that way. And
Okay.
for those of us who are artistic in any way, shape, or form, which as a Leo sun, I'm already assuming, as well as the Aquarius moon, but when we have those kinds of artistic tendencies, it's nice to see that there is some way of like, there will be some kind of structure to
It's nice to see. Yeah.
the things I possess, right? um, but so that's what it's telling you. But what's interesting is the signs that you have here are still in that second house of value, right? But we have these two signs which are under the sign of Aquarius. Now, Aquarius, its energy is unique, right? It's kind of the Island of Misfits toys sign. All
Uh-huh.
right. They don't do anything typically, or they don't like to be the standard. They want to surprise people. They don't want it to be, haha, like I knew you were going to do that. No, they want to be different, and they have a little bit of an altruistic kind of feel to them. Meaning,
Right.
for you, your emotion is here, which is your moon, okay, and also your Saturn, which by the way, you are one of the few that went through your Saturn return before you even got on the show.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
Good.
because a lot of people went through it while they were either
Oh,
while y'all were filming or they're going through it now.
oh, that's a
That's
hard
just crazy.
thing to go through.
Yeah, and I'll explain more in a second. Sorry, but let's talk about your moon. So the moon being here indicates that you have emotional value in the things that are unique and different. Like you see the value in that.
Okay.
It's not, and it has to do with how it makes you feel. Do you feel like it's doing good for others? Mostly is what you're looking for, right?
Okay.
Is it you're not leaving other people out? You want to make sure everybody's included
Yeah.
in the things that you value, things like that. Now, Saturn is the planet of restriction, but also results. Okay. And your Saturn return, what it means is when it comes back around to the same spot it was when you were born, which it takes about 28 to 29 years to do. Okay. So when that happens, it's called putting on your grown up pants. That's what that is. Okay. Because it eliminates things from your life, right? Whether you do it or life does it for you, that's what it does. It's like things that are no longer serving you get kind of pushed to the
That
side, if
happens
you will.
during the Saturn return.
Yes. Yeah.
Do you know when mine was?
Yeah, it was during like right before Pisces of March of 2023. So yours was like between 2021 and 2022
Okay.
around. So it just had happened. And then it moved into Pisces in like March of 2023. And now it's in Aries. So
Oh,
it
okay.
takes 2.5 years for it to move to a different sign. So that's where we're at now. But that for you, it indicates that you are going to, again, kind of thin out the herd when it comes to people who are only serving themselves and
Mm-hmm.
not looking at the bigger picture and being more concerned with what else is going on out there, and not
Mm-hmm.
just themselves. And for you, you might feel restricted by other people not doing that. Like you're like, hey, like, can I voice my opinion? Because I feel like you're restricting me a little bit,
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So then we move over here. Let me move my big head. Okay, so here we have the third house, right? And if you look, the third house, that lead line, so we come down here, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that lead line actually hits Pisces, okay? So
Okay.
I want to go backwards for a second now and say that Aquarius does not rule any houses, okay? So it's just in this second house of value, and it's what we call intercepted, okay? So it doesn't rule any houses. It's not the captain of any part of your life. So it's giving all of its energy to the things that you value. That altruistic feeling is going to come in to mostly your value and
Okay.
the things that you possess. Okay. So that being said, the third house is communication, how you think and communicate in general, speak even, right? So if you have Pisces ruling it, that means you prefer to not have to speak.
Fair.
You would rather just have kind of an intuitive connection with
Uh-huh.
folks. Like they can kind of understand what you're thinking,
Yeah.
like, come on, why is that so crazy, right? You're like, I want people to you kind of dream big about like how you communicate. And
Uh-huh.
you want people to just kind of intuitively appreciate that and be like, all right, let's do
Yeah.
that. Uh, so you can see how that can affect your life, even though there's no like placement in there.
Interesting.
Placements, by the way, there's more than 20,000. Okay.
Oh,
So
wow.
we just turn on the big ones. But, you can turn on a placement here and get more info. But the thing is that it doesn't matter because we have a sign ruler for that part of your life. So Pisces is about intuition and dreams, and that's what's ruling your house of communication. Okay.
Interesting.
So,
Okay.
so that being said, when we go to the fourth house right here, you can see the fourth house is ruled by Aries. So while Pisces is the oldest and wisest of the sign, Aries is the youngest, okay? It's
Mm.
quick action, youthful energy, all right? And it happens to rule your fourth house of home. So you like to have fun at home. You don't want it to be stale or like, and it doesn't even have to be like, you don't care if it's like what people would describe as like super comfortable or anything. That's not what you're there for. You're like, this is my home for now. And if it stays like that, that's cool. And if not, then we go to the next place, like whatever. It's
Yeah.
kind of how you feel. You don't need to have like certain things to have home. It's kind of a feeling for you, right?
Yeah. That's true.
So, and it's where you feel like you can have fun, be youthful, be yourself. That's what feels like home for you, right?
Interesting. Yeah.
More than anything. So it doesn't have to be an actual place. Sometimes it's a top of a hill for people, even,
Yeah.
or just like just being in their meditation state, like whatever feels like that for you. So now we go to the fifth house. So the fifth house is right here. It's this little scrawny one right here.
Yeah.
Okay. And it is ruled, you can see, by Taurus. All right. So Taurus is known for there's a few Taurans on the season. A few. Holy cow. I mean, Haley is a Taurus. Mel is a Taurus. Megan is a Taurus.
Oh my God. I didn't
realize. And there's one other one that I can't think of right now. But, no, that's not it. But it's like I'm going through everybody. But they are stubborn. They're known for their stubbornness, okay? So you're going to bring a little bit of that stubbornness to your creativity. So when people tell you like have opinions about the things that you create or like the pleasure that you're seeking, you're kind of like, yeah, whatever. Yeah. Thank you for your opinion. Because Taurans are about security. And again, having value in things, right? So you know what value you're bringing to the things that you're creating, and other people might not see that. That's okay. That's okay. Because this is also Leo's native house, all right? So the fifth house of creativity and pleasure being Leo's native house, you're like, no, I got this. You don't need to tell me how your opinion on mine. If I ask you, fine. And it doesn't mean I'm going to listen to you, but
yeah.
You're like, if I want your opinion on my creativity, I will give you it. Okay?
Right.
Thank you. Now, Taurus also happens to rule your sixth house. So you can see right here, it barely hits, but it hits right there. So Taurus is the ruler of your sixth house, which is your daily activities, right? Your daily routines or acts of service. So having Taurus rule that just means you just put your head down and get done what needs to get done. You're like, what's on the list? Let's look at it. Okay, let's do it. Let's just get it done and over with so then we can relax, right? Yeah. Because one thing about Taurus is they can work hard, but they also want the snacks and the bath after. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they kind of need that energy. And so you bring that to your acts of service. You don't mind doing things that need to get done, but you want to be able to have a little treat after. That's all. Just a little treat. Yeah. Now when we go to your seventh house is this one right here, okay? So you can see that it hits Gemini. So Gemini rules your seventh house of relationships. So let me ask you this. When I see air signs around the seventh house, it's usually you're not straight, right? And you're not cis. Okay. Right? It's just one of those things. Oh. And usually. But also it being Gemini is duality, right? When it comes to relationships. So you can be a little hot and cold in relationships. I mean, you went on a show called The Ultimatum. Right. Let's be real, right? But to be honest with you all, that could be fine. You all could be fine and not get married. Because this to you suggests like there's something behind it that you think you want based on societal indications, like how it looks on paper or like how it communicates things, right? But what's interesting is you don't really need that. You don't need it. And you'll find more and more. Now, that doesn't mean you don't get married. I'm not saying that. But it definitely indicates that you don't need it, okay? If you all have ever considered, and this is not for everybody, folks, please, but if you all have ever considered polyamory and you could handle it, you may want to consider that. I don't know. Really? I'm just throwing it out there. I'm not trying to screw up anything over there, all right?
Yeah, probably not my current one, but yeah, in the past I have been more open sometimes.
Yeah, well, that's one of the things that you find that more interesting, right? You might never even do anything with anybody else. But the fact that you can is just like that fun factor that Geminis in relationships need. They need that little tease, if you will, right? Like, we could go away if I'm not careful, like a little bit. But you don't want to lose because you can literally see that in here, this is Cancer, and you have your Venus in Cancer right here. So you poor sweet little baby,
That's tough, yeah.
Yeah, Venus is your vulnerability, okay? So in Cancer, it means that you're very nurturing in what you need in order to surrender. So somebody else has to give you nurturing. And that's where that feeling of wanting marriage comes from, or some kind of deeper connection, because you feel like that can only be achieved by that, right? Like you can feel locked in and safe and like that person's going to nurture you no matter what, because they've said their vows. And that's kind of, that's the sickness and health thing. And you feel that because you want to be nurtured in order to feel like you can surrender and be more vulnerable with the person that you're with in general. Now, you also have Mercury in Cancer, okay? And it's in this house as well. So, again, when it comes to communication, you need somebody to kind of baby you a little bit. You like it, okay? But you don't mind doing it back. That's the thing. You're like, I'm nurturing you, nurture me. Just a little bit, but it also can indicate that when it comes to communication, your emotions can either stunt what you're trying to say, or you might hesitate from the emotion that you're feeling. That's totally understandable. Know that the more you learn about yourself and the more you practice your different kinds of communication, the more you'll get the hang of it, and you won't feel that as much as you may have in the past, right? So now we come to your 8th house, all right? And Cancer is the ruler of that 8th house. Here's your 8th house right here, okay? Cancer is the ruler of that. Your 8th house is the house of rebirth, transformation, sex, the occult, if you will, right? It's Scorpio's native house. You may be familiar with the sign of Scorpio. We're going to talk about your mama a little bit too, because there's so many things on there. Like there's something I want to tell you. I can't wait to tell you.
Oh my God.
And I'm just like, and I don't know if you're probably not going to like it actually. You're going to think it's funny, but be kind of grossed out. And I'll explain in a minute. So that's as much of a hint as I can give you. But okay, so here's the rebirth, right? And it's ruled by Cancer. So you have a deep emotional capacity when it comes to transformation. You use your emotions to help teach you the next step, the next, like kind of step forward that you need in your emotional maturity, if you will, okay? Because that's what it's helping you do, is transform. Now, of course, Leo is coming in here. And again, see, it doesn't rule any houses, okay? So it's, again, intercepted, giving all of its energy to this house, all right? Now, that being said, you have your sun here. That's the ego, okay? So your true self. And it's under the sign of Leo. Now, the number one misunderstood thing about Leos is that you are egotistical, okay? That is not actually the case. Now, the sun does represent your ego, and it is the ruler of Leo, okay? So that gives you a very bright presence, like a glowing presence when you come into the room, all that sort of thing, right? But what's interesting is the ego part for Leos is if you hurt their ego, they will never forget. They'll forgive you.
Right.
They just won't forget. You're on the list, okay? And it might come back around and bite you in the ass later, just so you know. But but that's how they work, right? That's the ego part. Right? So when people think that, what they actually want is adoration. Okay? So you don't mind somebody saying, oh, you're handsome or you're gorgeous or whatever, right? But that's kind of surface level. You want them to notice that you put together the perfect outfit for this particular outing. Okay? Like stuff like that. Noticing you doing little things and them picking up on that, that's the adoration that Leos see. Okay, so that's why people can get that confused. And honestly, if you give a Leo their adoration, you will get their loyalty, 100% of their loyalty. So my main partner is a Leo, and so she'll cut a bitch for me. Like that's crazy. She wouldn't normally. That's not her personality. But if you bring the lion out, you bring the lion out. What can I say? So very loyal folks, Leos. So that being said, we're going to go over here to your 9th house, okay? So here's your 9th house right here, all right? And we can see that it's ruled by Virgo. Now, Virgo is an earth sign, and so it likes structure, but it wants details, okay? It wants to know the details. So for you, when it comes to your different experiences, you're like, where are we going? what are the dates? Somebody needs to send me an email. I'll schedule it. Forget it. I'll do it. And I'll send you guys the details. Okay? Because you need to know exactly what's going on, what's being planned. You have a checklist that you need to check off. There's like when you're if you're going to like take a class somewhere, you're like, I have to have all the best pencils and everything's organized and I'm ready to go. Right?
Yeah.
So that's Virgo's energy. They're like, okay, here we go. We got it done. We're going to do this, this, and this. Now, the sign, or sorry, the point that you have a replacement is Mars. Okay. So this is your dominant energy, what you want to be in control of. So again, all right, Bridget. Bridget said organized. Just about this particular area, okay? Just this particular area. I hope you're going to be on here going after her while she's getting her.
I definitely will.
I'm going to drag you too. You don't worry about it, Bridget. She said fair enough. So with Mars here, that's your drive or your dominant energy, which then also indicates that you want to be in control of the details when it comes to what you're learning, the experiences you're having, the kind of education you're getting, the kind of philosophies that are being put in, and spirituality, right? You want to know all the details. You don't want any hidden stuff going on there, right? So yeah, the details and organize in that particular area, okay? Listen, even Virgo suns are somewhat organized and they have one nasty area somewhere in their house. I promise you, okay?
Yeah.
They know where everything is in that area, but that's beside the point.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we go to your 10th house, and right here on the cusp of your 10th house is your MC. Everybody's is there, okay? MC stands for medium coli, which is Latin for top of the sky. We also call it your midhaven, okay? And what it is it's your achievement, your point of achievement, okay, or ambitions. And the 10th house itself is also that. It's your ambitions and your goals that you have, okay? So that is actually ruled by Libra. Now, Libra, this is so funny because Libra is a little bit indecisive, right? Because they want to be fair. So when it comes to your goals that you've set, you want to make sure you aren't stepping on anybody to get there. You want to make sure it's kind of fair. We're going to do it together, right? Let's hold hands and jump together, that kind of thing. And balance in that. You want to seek balance in what you achieve and your goals. And in fact, Jupiter, which is actually your ruler, okay, is in this house, okay? And that means luck. That's your luck, your expansion, how you expand as a person. And so finding balance in your achievements is actually helps you to expand. Probably teaches you things and helps you to learn how to be even more fair or just when it comes to the things that you're trying to achieve in your life. Okay? Be a little nicer to yourself in some cases as well, because Libra energy can be very hard on themselves when they feel like they weren't fair, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So then we can look at the 11th house right here. So the 11th house is your social house, all right? And it's the house that it indicates the kind of social groups you want to be a part of or your role that you kind of take on in social groups. So Scorpios can be, well, your mom's a Scorpio, but what their energy is that they're emotional, but they're guarded, right? So they can come off as intense. So that energy, it may be what you put off socially. You could be a little intense or feel unapproachable to people in some ways. But if you're like in a social group, you're probably like the secretary of the social group. What do I need to write down for you guys or whatever? But you're not like overly involved. You're kind of looking out for the BSers, right? You're like, no, this person shouldn't be here. I'm worried about that person. I don't know, right? So when it comes to social interactions, you're kind of looking for the person that is bullshitting everybody. That's your job. All right. And you have a planet here. The other one of the 3 generational planets. Remember these other 2 right here. Yeah. So you probably all have it here. And that is Pluto. And it's literally in. Megan's in here too. So Megan, are you going to do a live reading or what? Get back. Let's go. Get back to me on the Instagram. We've talked before, but I know y'all are busy after everything. So here's the Pluto, right, which is transformation. So it's literally how you transform from, or how you're transforming yourself, your life, all those things. Again, it's in Scorpio. So it may be a little intense, but this is Scorpio's ruler. So even though it's intense, you can kind of ride it like a wave, if you will.
Okay.
So when it comes to your social experiences, yeah, your job is now to help those social people or people of your social group also transform honestly, and having the best thing to go. Um, I don't know what's going on right now. They're talking about something else, I think, because I'm
Is
not
there
sure.
an
Or is it
echo?
me?
I don't
There's an
know.
echo. I don't think. Is anybody else have an echo on theirs?
You don't even echo.
Well, anyway, all right. So let's go to the last house.
Yes.
Okay. Right here is the 12th house. Okay. So here we can see that the 12th house is ruled by Scorpio again. So Scorpio rules the 11th and the 12th house. And your 12th house is the house of intuition and dreams itself. Okay. So intense dreams, vivid dreams. You also may have more psychic abilities than you let on. Maybe you're not ready to like kind of wrap your arms around them yet because they're a little scary to you. But those who have water like ruling the 12th house in general, especially Scorpio or its native Pisces, tend to have a lot of psychic kind of abilities. So
Mhm.
I would suggest getting some black tourmaline if you don't already have some. I
Black
mean,
tourmaline. Okay.
yeah, it's one of those crystals, rocks, whatever. It's kind of really rough. And I would get like a small one for like your wallet or whatever your bag that you take with you when you leave the house, and then have like you can have one in each of the corner of your house as well, which can protect your home, and one in your car. All right.
What does it do?
So it's protection. So
Oh,
especially if you have any kind of, even if you don't have psychic placements, it's still protection. But for those folks like light workers or anybody who may have like kind of intuitive placements, then it's good for you. And speaking of that, your mom, Chris,
hmm.
Kyle's mom, Chris, was on the show, and a couple of people asked me to do her chart as well. So I had Kyle send me the info, and I did Haley's dad's chart too.
Yeah.
But what's interesting about Chris, okay? First of all, when I figured out she was a Scorpio, the first thing I thought of Kyle was, oh, Kyle's a birthday baby.
Oh, really?
Yeah, meaning, most Leos are made during Scorpio season.
Interesting. Okay. I
Yeah, and in
was in the
fact, I
States,
put your
so.
birth date in, and were you born like 4 days early by chance?
Actually, I was. I was due on the 31st, I think, of July. So I was,
Yeah.
yeah, 3 days.
It said you were conceived the 13th of
Okay,
that
interesting. I'll
year.
I'll ask her about
Which is about 4 days before her birthday. So just saying,
it. Yeah,
that might have been the
interesting.
weekend of her birthday. I'm not sure that year. That's the part I said it might be a little gross for you, but also interesting.
That is interesting.
And your mom was also born on a full moon, which is kind of cool, right?
Yeah.
Like that's crazy. But all that neither here nor there. Let's talk about one more placement in your chart. I don't have it up here right now, but where it does sit in your chart is right here. Okay, and it's Juno. And Juno is long-term relationships. All right. No, yeah. What question?
No, Bridget's right. July 31st means I was born late, not early. So I was wrong.
Yeah, yeah. I was like, wait, math.
Unfortunately, yeah, it's hard.
Okay, it's hard. It's hard. Um, so Juno is an asteroid, but it means like your relationships, long-term relationships, what you look for, how you like to approach relationships, all that sort of thing. So you are a Virgo, okay? Virgo Juno in the eighth house.
Okay.
So what that means is in relationships, you're looking for practicality, like practicality in your relationships. What you need is to be of service to others, right?
Mhm.
In conflict, you want to fix it. How do I fix this? Right?
Yeah.
When it comes to the worst part of relationships for you, it's the critical parts when somebody's critical of you
Yeah.
or you're critical of the relationship. Those are, and best, it's a flow. It's like you're in a flow and you're like, yeah, everything just is moving. You don't have to think, you just kind of go with the flow, right?
Mhm.
And the fact that it's in the eighth house indicates that you're seeking transformation in your relationships. and you're attracted to mystery and intensity.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's true.
So, yeah, I double checked it because I wrote on here conceived on November 13th. Uh,
Yeah,
that's
for sure.
funny. So yeah, so just know that. Uh, and that's pretty much it. I can do your aspects if you would like as well, which are the lines that go through here, but they just show us the relationships. They're not. I don't have them on right now.
Oh,
They just show us the relationships between your focus points and stuff like that. But you didn't
okay.
have like a stellium. You don't have like anything too crazy like that. So I didn't put those on. Plus, it can be really confusing. If you
Yeah,
want to know more about that, you and I can we can. I'll do a personal reading for you for free if you want, and we'll
yeah,
just go through that, and I can read your aspects to you. But speaking of that, folks, I do reading. So if you're interested in one,
yeah.
make sure
Yeah.
you click up there and go to my link tree and go to the link tree. And there's several things in there. Okay. You're nodding too fast. I can't read what the hat says. What?
It says I may be gay, but at least I'm gay.
Yeah.
True.
So are we compatible or what? I don't know. Did you see my compatibility charts I did of the two of you? You're pretty compatible. It just
Yeah, we're
depends. It's
compatible.
how yeah. I mean, honestly, the oppositions with you guys, that
Yeah.
helps a lot in some cases. So, it's not twin flaming, which is good.
You don't want that.
Speaking of twin flames, no, you don't want to be a twin flame.
Oh, okay.
A lot of people get that confused with soulmate, right?
Yeah.
Soulmate is somebody who is their own individual soul, but you're part of the same soul group. There's multiple ones of those, right? And it doesn't have to be just romantic. That can be other people, like your parents, your family, all that. And then a twin flame is a split soul. So you and another person, Megan and Haley, have very
Okay.
similar kind of placements and things, and that can really, when they are together, they kind of ignore the rest of the world and can actually destroy themselves if they're not careful. So, like, basically what happened with Megan and Haley that we saw is kind of like when they were together, it was like, and then once they weren't, it was fiery, it was like they're because they fight with each other. They can't, they're taking up the same space, if you will. So
Interesting.
that's difficult.
So twin
Unless
flame
they're
is like
alone. Yeah.
twin flame is like determined by your chart. It's not just like because I feel like people are like, oh, that's my soulmate, but it's you can actually be like figure it
Mm-hmm.
out. Oh.
Yeah, I mean, there's indications. Like I said, astrology is never
Right.
have to, can, whatever. But there's definitely some common things. Like in the twin flame stuff, it's when they have a lot of placements that are really similar, or their charts just complete each other. And it's just an interesting thing. So, like, if you go and look at like Megan and Haley's charts together, you can see how many placements they have that are very similar. Like they're right on top of each other in a lot of places. No pun intended. But like it's really interesting to see that. So
Wow. Okay. Interesting.
yeah. So there was some cool stuff in the seasons. Like a lot of people didn't think like Mel and Marie are actually quite compatible.
Really?
But there's hurdles and things that they'd have to work through, and if they are willing to work through that, they could. But sometimes feelings get hurt. Also, a Sagittarius rising, Marie, by the way.
Oh,
So
wow. Love
yeah,
that.
so you at least have a twin in the rising department
Something. Yeah.
on the show. But yeah, all those Taurans, holy cow.
No, they're
So
really
anyway, yeah,
cool.
if you have any questions or anything, by all means, I will be posting this on YouTube. So if you need to rewatch it, because you're like, what was she saying about
Yeah,
that?
there's a lot of info.
I mean, you can obviously just write to me and ask, but if you want, you can watch it and rewatch it as much as you want on there. So, so folks that didn't get to see it yet and want to watch it later, you can go onto my YouTube and watch it there. Okay, it'll take me a while. I have to wait for this to download, and I can download it and whatever, but probably by
Right.
tonight. Okay,
I have one
and
more
I'll send you
question.
that link. Yeah, by all means, as many questions
With
as you want.
the money stuff, you said it's not
Mm-hmm.
a bad thing, but what does it mean? Where the money part?
So, well, Capricorn is an earth sign, so they're about structure, right?
Okay.
And they're the initiators of structure. So they like to initiate different things. And in this case, probably with your rebellion and your intuition is working towards that, even though it's not in the second house, but because it's in Capricorn in general. And what it's doing is it's basically setting you up for the future, right? It's initiating the structure now so that you can build on it.
Interesting.
And then, yeah. Whereas, like, that's Taurus's native house. So they are seeking security and value. Whereas Capricorns is seeking that structure and initiation and value. You start it yourself, like you have to initiate it and you can grow off of it. Not like it's just going to fall in your lap.
Right.
Although being a Sagittarius rising, luck does fall in your lap often. Like, have you ever gotten like random checks in the mail from like an insurance company or something like that? Or like just money pops up when you need it? It's just one of those weird things that happens. And that's because you're ruled by the planet of luck. You're ruled by Jupiter. So,
wow, that's good to know.
You know, that's pretty cool.
That is cool.
So, yeah. And everybody, make sure you come back next week on Thursday when I read Bridget. Okay? And then I do have a celebrity reading come up in August. Should I tell people now who it is?
Yeah.
Do I want to say it now? I was going to wait till Bridget's live, but let's do it. So Mary Lambert, I'm going to read Mary Lambert in August. So make sure you're staying tuned for that. Mary Lambert, who did the song with Macklemore and Ryan G. Lewis, right? And she's coming out with this new song that's really cool. It's really good. It's like an anthem for like all the stuff we're going through right now. So make sure if you guys haven't checked out Mary Lambert's new stuff that you do. And stay tuned. I'm trying to go one at a time here. So these surprise checks. I've heard nothing. Well, they're not for you to know about.
I've gotten $1,000 PayPal that just randomly appeared in my account one time. But anyway,
that's crazy. That's crazy.
It was crazy.
So do you want to discuss people thinking that you have autism or that you're on the spectrum? Would you like to discuss that?
Kind of if you want. I think I'm just a little weird. I understand I do have social anxiety, and I think that just presents as awkward. And also they show so little from the show. So they're showing moments where I'm uncomfortable. Obviously, I'm acting a certain way. But also I think that people can be quirky, and it doesn't mean anything.
Absolutely. And that's why I wanted to bring it up, honestly, is because a lot of us probably are on the spectrum of some way, shape, or form in general. And it's not a bad thing at all. It's not that at all. And even if you were or weren't, it doesn't matter. It's not a bad thing if you were, and we should be bringing it up in that aspect. So that's interesting. But also there's something to be celebrated about being different and unique. And I know that you get that because of your moon and who you're dating. You know what I mean? So there's some uniqueness to you, and that comes into your life a lot. So that's good.
Yeah, that's good.
Anything else?
I don't think so. Thank you so much. This was so interesting and informative. And I feel like, it can really help me, helps guide me, I think, knowing all of these things, which is great. Yeah,
it's kind of, I just want to validate certain things that you may have thought about, or oh, what's that? Or, because I think a lot of people, they just need a little bit of that, a little bit of validation, and to how to put their intentions in the right spot,
Yeah. Thank you.
So, well, thank you for doing the live, and make sure you all are coming back next week to see Bridget. Is there anything that people should look for? Like, what are you doing? You got something you want to hype up or talk about, or
just not really?
Those?
Yeah.
Are you on that voice thing where we can call or have you record a video for people? Are you on there yet?
Cameo. I am on Cameo. It's kind of lucky, but I'm on Cameo. And also, if you want graphic tees, tinytoothtoad.net. I'm selling
tinytoothtoad.net.
Yes. Okay. It's a mouthful, but check it out. Thank you, everyone.
Cool. Yeah. No, please go check out Kyle's stuff. And again, tune in next week for Bridget. And maybe we'll actually get Megan to do a live reading too, now that she has come in here for a moment. And I got to chastise her a bit. So anyway, thank you again. And everybody stay safe and look out for each other, okay? Because it's crazy out there. Yeah. All right. I love you all, and stay safe. And until next time, cheers.
Bye-bye.